And lastly, in our sports news, prisons, police face off in handball this weekend.
Was brought to you by Everywhere You Go, MTN.
UBC News tonight, President Yoweri Museveni has paid tribute to King Mohammed bin Salman of Saudi Arabia for pledging a donation of $68 million towards humanitarian support, with particular reference to the refugees hosted in Uganda. The president was speaking during a meeting with the Saudi Arabian Minister of State for African Affairs, Mr. Ahmed Katan, who is in Uganda for a 3-day visit. During the meeting, Uganda and Saudi Arabia signed a memorandum of understanding between the Ministries of Foreign Affairs and an agreement for cooperation. Uganda's Minister of Foreign Affairs, General Jeje Odong, signed on behalf of Uganda, and the visiting Minister Ahmed Katan signed on behalf of Saudi Arabia. President Museveni commended the Saudi Arabian government for its donations of $7 million, which was used in the construction of the King Fahad Plaza in Kampala district. He said that the facility was built to work as an endowment to support the Islamic University in Uganda. He commended Saudi Arabia on the establishment of the Counter-Terrorism Center. The United Nations Counter-Terrorism Center was established in September 2011 to promote international counter-terrorism cooperation and support member states in the implementation of the global counter-terrorism strategy through a voluntary contribution of the government of Saudi Arabia. He pledged a donation of $68 million towards humanitarian aid and said that they want to support Uganda in dealing with the refugees coming from the neighboring countries. Prime Minister Robina Nabanja has commiserated with over 200 families in Masaka district whose properties that were recently hit by hailstorms. The Premier was received, among others, by the former Vice President, Edward Kyomugisha. Helen Gizambe has details on this story.
Nebatubingiza mu nyumba ne tuyingira ebintu byayononeka byonna ebintu byafa emifaliso gyayononeka twagisika ne giulika ngebidongo bigikubye embuzi zakubibwa n'ebikopo byonna n'amasuwani ne byatika.
Over 200 homesteads in Masaka districts whose gardens were thrashed by a hailstorm are to get assistance following an on-spot visit by Prime Minister Robina Nabanja accompanied by her technical team. The affected villages are Chasenyi, Nakalinzi, Wanganyondo, among others. A number of homesteads have no shelter, gardens and plantations after a recent spate of hailstorms in the district. The Premier held a meeting with the affected persons and pledged assistance to them on behalf of government and also extended President Yoweri Museveni's sympathies.
Akarunga tubawereze emitwalo ebiri okusooka egy'akalunga. Ate tubawereze ebijanjaalo kiro omutwalo gumu. Ne tubawereza sukaali kiro 10. Naye kakiseremba nga bwali wawano kamulagire ndagire ndete nkulagidde oyongera akalunga kuba bagambye 13 eza memba wa palamenti zamaze ennaku 3. Ekitegeeza ezo tubawaddeyo ennaku 2 bw'owulira ngeri gye boogeddemu kakati tubongereyo ennaku endala 2 ez'akawunga n'ebijanjaalo.
Nabanja also urged residents to embrace the parish model development that government has put in place to fight against poverty.
Era kyemanyi kati yali tekiniko twagala ssaawa ezijja mu January okugezesa twagala okulaba emitwalo egy'abantu oba pasenti y'abantu 39 ebitannaba kukwata ku ssente nabyo bikwate ku ssente
In Masaka, Premier Nabanja witnessed the handover of 5 acres of land to Masaka district for construction of the district headquarters courtesy of former Vice President Edward Chiwankasekandi.
I know acres kumi. Era nayo ayinayo kazi nga kinana. Yagamba banna Masaka njoba temwena buteka kitebe nga balabika kijagula busere. Mbawadde acres 5. Oba muzisalako eri muzimbe ekitebe. Oba muzisalako kuno muzimbeyo ekitebe. Naye mbawadde nakiteka ne muwandiike.
The area's political leadership also narrated to the Prime Minister the challenges faced by the district.
Timama omwana asoma wano ng'asoma secondary atambula mailo musanvu okutuuka ewaggulwe ate n'atambula mailo musanvu okukomawo wano okudda ewaka.
The hailstorms led to the loss of a life, injured several others, and damaged property worth millions. Helen Barbara Zamba reporting for UBC TV News.
The First Lady and Minister of Education and Sports, Sharon, has welcomed a proposal by a German investor to establish a technical university with practice-oriented studies for students in need in Uganda. The First Lady was meeting with Dr. Elmer Wolf, Managing Director of the Institute for Applied Biotechnology and System Analysis in Germany, who presented a proposal to establish a university which will offer sponsorship and scholarships from the German people to Ugandan students. According to Dr. Wolf, the major field of study in this university will be ecological behavior, including renewable energy, ecological agriculture, and ecological building, and all the studies will be project-oriented, integrating theory and practice. The students will be awarded Ugandan and European certified degrees. For sustainability of the concept of sponsorship and scholarships, it is expected that the students who will be first sponsored by the German families will, after completing their degrees and getting jobs, take over sponsorship of up to 2 new students depending on their income. Mrs. Janet Museveni welcomed the proposal, saying that they look forward to having the technical university established as quickly as possible. It is more interesting that you want to give support to students who cannot afford to pay for their education. So this becomes beneficial to many of our young people, and I can only say thank you on their behalf and on behalf of Government of Uganda, she said. The State Minister for Higher Education, Dr. Jesse Muyingo, said that TVET policy and the Skilling Ugandan program talks about TVET University, and he looks forward to seeing the proposed Uganda University of Applied Sciences and Technology taking off. I wish to see this university take off as fast as tomorrow, he ended. Moving on from that, Prime Minister Robina Nabanja and the Health Minister Dr. Jane Ruth Acheng have agreed that COVID-19 results be sent to the client's phones rather than waiting for papers at the airport. This follows the Premier's visit to the airport following previous complaints by travellers and delays at the airport waiting for results. Details follow.
Museveni recently commissioned a government health facility at Entebbe International Airport, purposely meant to fast-tracking COVID-19 testing. The facility has laboratories for attending to travellers entering the country. However, due to delays by travellers to access their results, this has led to more congestion by travellers at Entebbe International Airport.
No one knows what is going on.
Prime Minister Robina Nabanja held a meeting with Ministry of Health officials at Entebbe Airport to see how the situation can be normalised.
But we have come up with solutions, and that will not happen again. What I request is for Ugandans to be patient. We have put in place a number of measures to stop that congestion happening again. We are now stopping paperwork. Those who are waiting to receive their results on paper, so we are going to be putting the information on their phones and emails.
The Minister for Health, Dr. Jane Ruth Acheng, received the Premier at the facility located within the airport.
We are encouraging all Ugandans to register online so that we avoid the congestion at the sample removal place. There is a link that has been sent to all the websites. Please access it and do provide your information online. And also try as much as possible to pay online so that we don't have congestion again at the paying places. We have made provisions for online payment, provisions for mobile money, and for those who cannot at all, we shall receive the cash, but all this will be done at the sample collection area.
Now, travelers are to receive their COVID-19 results on phone. Reporting for UBC TV News, Helen Barbara, Gizamba.
Now, security operatives in Karamoja sub-region have called for calm in the region following isolated murder cases Kotido and Kabong. This follows an incident where a 23-year-old youth was gunned down by suspected Doroth armed warriors on Wednesday night.
Leaders in Karamoja sub-region decried increasing insecurity due to poor road infrastructure. They told President Museveni last month that security cannot rescue communities when raids have taken place. President Museveni promised to open up security roads for the peaceful Karamoja. However, most of the existing roads were destroyed and bridges washed away by heavy rains, which Woman Member of Parliament Napak Nakuti Faith raised on floor of Parliament. State Minister for Works Musa Ichweru has toured a 30-kilometer stretch from Iriri through the communities to Tepeth and Nabwal, which is in a sorry state. The 15-kilometer Kongole Lotome Lorengetwat is a security road that runs through Omaniman Swamp up to Nabilatuk and has a broken bridge. Over 20,000 animals have been lost since the bridge was washed away.
There have been serious cases of security here in Lotome, and it was difficult for the brigade in Matany to come and respond to their need.
Help them whenever the criminals come in. We could put the soldiers behind here, but now when they cross here, it became very difficult.
65-kilometer Apeitolim Nyarakadi Road connects over 30 villages and it passes through a swamp. Its sorry state is attributed to inadequate funds.
It's bigger than what the district can really handle in terms of maintenance. When you look at the width of the bridge, it is wider than even some normal bridges that we have on the national road.
District can't maintain. Putting money, the entire money that the district receives on this road alone means no other road in Napak can be worked on in a whole.
Napak district is one of the food basket for Karamoja sub-region, but accessing markets for their produce is a problem.
Yeah, the farmlands that are on that other side are too many, but there is no way food can be transported to the center.
Especially like this bridge can be worked on, you will see a lot of people producing food and accessing markets easily, and that will make people work for money other than working for their stomach.
During the inspection, Ichweru blamed engineers for delivering shoddy work. He, however, promised that government will intervene.
Sample those areas, mobilize resources, and make sure that government intervenes.
Colleagues, the ones in charge bridges in Indra, to give the expertise, and then we shall get guidance thereafter.
Other poor roads are 47-kilometer Lorengechora Nabilatuk, which connects settlements of 18,000 people, Nyakwe in Abim, Kabulum in Napak, to Kapela Byong district.
In more stories during the day, the hearing of Mohammed Signinya's bail application has this Friday flopped at Buganda Road Court. This is after Mohammed Signinya was unable to attend his court session because he's still undergoing medication at the Markison Bay Health Facility. We have details on this story from Nama Mwande and Nantongo.
Kawempe North Member of Parliament Mohammed Signinya's hearing this Friday has flopped after it was discovered that he's still on medication at the Markison Bay Health Facility.
Your Worship, Signinya is in the hospital, not able to attend court today. He's sick. Your Worship is in the Markison Bay Hospital.
Seginya was made to appear before Magistrate Doreen Olga Kalonji. Mohammed Seginya's prosecution, led by Counsel Judith Nyamwiza, however, informed court that inquiries are still ongoing. He also asked court to issue a production warranty for Seginya to appear in court in the next session. The presiding magistrate Doreen Olga Kalonji adjourned the matter to 15th November 2021. Mohammed Seginya's lawyer Shamim Malende wants the accused to get further medication since his health status is not good.
Everyone has been crying, saying that the right to life is paramount. The right to health is paramount. We have been pleading. The Honorable Member of Parliament has been pleading with the courts to release him to go and seek specialized medical attention, which they have declined to do all along. So it is a bad sign. It is a bad signal that, his situation is getting worse.
So that's why we are going to have a prayer to see. And if prayer fails, we shall try all possible ways of fighting for the liberty and freedom of the honorable MPs and all other political prisoners. We've already wrote to the IGP over that issue, and we don't expect any resistance because constitutionally we are just supposed to notify them. Secondly, we are elected leaders of Kawempe, and we are going to have religious leaders, Muslim clerics, on that prayer, special prayer, come Monday at 10.
Seginya is facing charges related to inciting violence under Section 51(1) of the Penal Code Act, which prosecution alleges that were committed on his Facebook page. Seginya Muhammad, through his Facebook page post, allegedly wrote that, "I'm warning those who want to assassinate Honorable Robert Kyagulanyi Ssentamu. What will happen will be 40 times worse than the 1994 Rwanda genocide." The offences were committed between the month of August and September 2020 in Kampala district. Nantongo Rebecca, Namamonde Deborah, UBC News.
Well, we pray that Honorable Seginya gets to feel better and recover soon. In more stories, the Chief Justice Alfonso Winnie-Dolo has condemned corruption among lawyers. He was officiating the launch of the Uganda Christian Lawyers Journal celebration of Charles Owuor, the founder of the Uganda Christian Law Fraternity.
The Chief Justice of Uganda, Alfonso Winnie-Dolo, has criticized some lawyers for the emerging corrupt tendencies exhibited while rendering service to the public. Winnie-Dolo says this habit has cost Ugandans life and denied them justice.
And for me, I'm always quick to say, yes, there's corruption in the judiciary. I'm quick to accept it. We always focus on a few shillings exchanging hands, and we think that is what corruption. I think corruption is more expansive than exchange of the other considerations. Who participate? How many Christian lawyers actually participate in corrupting judicial officers? These are questions we need to ask.
Winnie says the category of people involved in corruption should be investigated and examined.
Where lawyers, you hear names, even senior lawyers, doing some of the things we never did when we were in legal practice. I mean, it was unthinkable.
But to try and live the ideals that Charles stood for, to ensure that justice is availed to all people without corruption and without fear of favor and bias. Lawyers are either overcharging, or they are not representing them in court as they should, or they are double-crossing them. Lawyers should go back to the basics and do the job as a service to the people rather than as a business.
Democratic Party President Norbert Mao, who attended the event, requested the Uganda Christian Lawyer Fraternity to launch a project for remembrances of their fallen colleagues.
Where a little book could be published for those remembrances. Many of us will be happy to write a few words to be a chapter. And I'm sure the strong family of the Uganda Christian Lawyers Fellowship will be happy to buy those books.
We hope that with what we did in the previous, generations, the societies after us will be able to stand on that foundation and bring about a greater level, or bring about transformation to a much higher degree. Today, our society is still in the process Every small effort is enough to transform a nation. If all of us are doing our part.
Meanwhile, the Chief Executive Officer, Uganda Christian Lawyers Fraternity, John Osapiri, thinks by introducing the Uganda Christian Lawyers Fraternity Journal, many scholars and writers shall come together and share different ideologies. Shaidat Nasaku, UBC News.
The Minister of Health, Dr. Jane Ruth Acheng, has put in place 7 mitigation measures at Entebbe International Airport, mandatory COVID-19 testing center to avoid a recurrence of commotion which erupted. Now, the new measures include issuance of COVID-19 results to incoming passengers via email, WhatsApp messages, as well as displaying particulars on available mounted screens for those who have no smartphones or laptops. Dr. Acheng also reveals that results will be linked to passports or travel documents to enable quick scanning and verification, among other mitigation measures.
Number one was the results dispatch system. This was cited as the biggest challenge which caused the uproar yesterday morning. Travelers were not able to access their results, which were being printed and read out manually. The public address system was not audible, and there was congestion at the results dispatch desk. The above challenges have since been resolved as follows. Results will no longer be given out manually, but through an online system, which includes emails, WhatsApp messages, and display of names on the available screens mounted on the walls for those who do not have smartphones or laptops. B, results will be linked to passports or travel documents to enable quick scanning and verification. C, adequate portals for charging of electronics will immediately be made available to support those who run out of battery during flight. D, free Wi-Fi has been made available immediately. E, exit was made easier through scanning of QR codes using tablets. F, the waiting area was beefed up with additional ushers to support comfortable seating of passengers. And G, the turnaround time for results takes between 45 minutes to 2 hours maximum. The second challenge was communication. The airport infrastructure in the new terminal does not favor the use of the public address systems, and we do apologize for this. 3 is online registration and payments. A new updated link for the online registration has been shared and publicized through all communication channels, including the Civil Aviation Authority and the Ministry of Health websites and social media platforms. And we have a link that will be shared by our PRO teams. 4 was sample collection. There are 30 sample collection booths with the capacity to collect 30 samples every 5 minutes. Passengers are encouraged to cooperate to make the process as smooth as possible and as quick as possible. Number 5 are tourists. No tourist was involved in the confusion of yesterday, and it is not true that tourists are cancelling their scheduled visits to Uganda. What appeared on social media yesterday was old information. Tour companies are encouraged to register incoming tourists with the Uganda Tourism Board for easy identification on arrival. 6 is management of positive cases. Travelers who test positive will be cancelled and transferred in vans to either a public or a private facility, depending on the preference of the traveler. Those who opt for private facilities will meet the cost of their treatment, while those admitted to public facilities will be treated free of charge. Thank you very much for coming. We do appreciate.
together with one of Uganda's largest companies. Apply for MTN shares for as low as 100,000 Uganda shillings. And when you apply using MTN Mobile Money, you get 10 free extra shares for every 100 shares you apply for. Dial *165*65# or use the MyMTN app to apply now. The terms and conditions of the offer and other important information are set out in the prospectus. For assistance, visit any MTN service center or Stanbic Bank branch countrywide or a licensed broker.
Getting GoTV was the best decision James has ever made. Finding a good place to watch football was never easy, but it was costly until James discovered something big. Now he can finally enjoy the benefits of homegrown advantage with a decoder and 1 month of GoTV Valley. For just 25,000 shillings, enjoy the world's biggest leagues and cap competitions. GoTV Uganda, love it.
It's Freaky Friday from Airtel. Buy or gift, buy or give.
Get freaky too! Dial *149*10# to load a Freaky Friday bundle for you to enjoy the best offers on voice and data.
To buy a bundle for friends and family, dial *149*10*5#. Freaky Friday with Airtel. Buy or gift a bundle today. Dial *149*10# to get started. Airtel, the smartphone network.
Parents and guardians, this month of October, take all your children aged 15 years and below to the nearest health facility or outreach post for Integrated Child Health Days to receive a wide range of free services. The services will include immunization to protect them against killer yet vaccine-preventable diseases like measles, rubella, polio, diphtheria, whooping cough, pneumonia, meningitis, diarrhea, tetanus, hepatitis B, tuberculosis, and cancer of the cervix. Your child will also receive vitamin A and deworming tablets. Girls aged 10 years old and those who missed their second HPV vaccine dose will receive HPV vaccine to protect them against cancer of the cervix. Girls and women aged 15 to 49 years will also be immunized against tetanus and diphtheria. Due to polio outbreak in the region, every child under 5 years should be fully immunized as per the routine immunization schedule. Vaccines used for immunization are safe, effective and free and have been approved by the Ministry of Health and World Health Organization. Remember to follow all the COVID-19 prevention measures, including wearing a mask when in public, hand washing with water and soap, and keeping a distance of at least 2 meters from another person. Integrated Child Health Days, a healthy child, a happy family. This message is brought to you by the Ministry of Health with support from UNICEF, World Health Organization, Earth, and partners.
You're still watching UBC News Tonight. In more stories, the Minister of Health, Dr. Jen Cheng, has said health insurance will be good to all. Now, the ministers disclosed this at the opening ceremony of Safe Motherhood Conference in Munyonyo. The Safe Motherhood Conference is to highlight the process, achievements and challenges of maternal and neonatal health care services in the country.
The Ministry of Health, in collaboration with its partners, is refocusing on the reduction of maternal and perinatal mortality through enhanced interventions. The Minister of Health, Dr. Jen Cheng, says the national health insurance that is in the offing aims at resolving some of the stumbling blocks to good health, especially among expecting mothers.
The National Health Insurance Scheme Bill will be mandatory for all. Mandatory for all. If you are a Ugandan, you are in. If you are living in Uganda, you are in. And all must contribute. All must contribute. Of course, contribution will not be the same. Contribution will depend on your income. The bigger the income, the more the contribution, but all must contribute. And then we'll set a good mechanism for payment so that nobody has to worry about their money. What you need to worry about is getting quality services at your door.
The minister cautioned health workers over poor attitude to work and absenteeism that have contributed negatively to maternal mortality.
That I don't care attitude that is in the system should also be analyzed as part of the causes of maternal mortality. And it is one of the big causes of maternal mortality: negligence and lack of commitment.
Health experts now want community surveillance and tracking of maternal and perinatal deaths, monitoring mechanisms strengthened to determine the deaths occurring at community levels.
Hemorrhage is the leading cause of death, and I've just realized that 57% of all the deliveries are made in health center 3 and 2, and yet our policy does not allow blood transfusion in those healthcare facilities. So what should we do to help reduce the maternal mortality due to hemorrhage?
Interest. If the health workers can be available, if they can be skilled, and also if they can give blood rationally. Some people are also overprescribing blood, and that one we know for a number of reasons. In Ginger, we have a funny problem in Ginger, because Dorothy gives blood in Ginger, but all the blood is in the private facilities. And our PS is trying to address that problem. So this blood has developed legs and not the private facilities.
In the presidential pledge, 2010, Uyam was supposed to have a general hospital. But to date, Honorable Minister, we have not got.
The Munyonyo Safe Motherhood Conference is among other issues handling the progress, achievements and challenges of maternal and neonatal health care services in the country. Zahara Abigaba, UBC News.
Well, moving on from that, the Attorney General, Uganda Law Society, the Justice, Law and Order sector and Uganda Prison Service have held high-profile negotiation on how best they can decongest prison cells in Uganda. The talks have been held at a moment when the number of prisoners in Uganda has risen from 59,000 to 65,000 in just 5 months. The Commissioner of Prisons, Agri Aturanire, and the President of Uganda Law Society, Fiona Nabasa Wool, said that COVID-19 lockdown has worsened the congestion in prison.
COVID has worsened the situation because the court reduced the level of its operation because of COVID. So people, like at the beginning, the first lockdown, people were not going to court at all. Then again, those who were due for release could not be released. They had nowhere to go. They had no transport. There was lockdown everywhere. Someone moving from Rosara to Karamoja, he couldn't go. So he had to wait until when the lockdown was lifted. So those things where the court processes are all, the court activity are all because of COVID. So that means many people are overstaying on remand just because of COVID.
I want to first see the ones that are black and white before the law. If you've been in prison on remand longer than you could have even been sentenced, you've already served your sentence beyond, and yet you are not yet even proven guilty. That's a great injustice. These are the people we want to get out first. We want to free our prisons so that our prisons can feed and look after those that are supposed to be in there properly, but also so that they can have space to welcome those that need to be there. These bombers and everybody that is being tried right now, where are they going to go? And then the ones that, you know, they want to deny bail, where are they going to go? Right now, our prison population is 322%, 23%.
Today, we've had an engagement with the Law Society and the prisons, and we intend to engage with the judiciary to go through these files, ascertain which prisoners have spent on remand a period longer than they ought to have been sentenced to had they been convicted. And then from then onwards we shall advise that probably they be released because they will have been on remand for a period longer than the sentence of the crime they are suspected to have committed.
Our government, through National Agriculture Research Organization in partnership with Korean Program on International Agriculture, has established a multi-billion citrus model village project in Soroti district. The 6-year project, worth 7.5 billion Ugandan shillings, is expected to scale up the production of quality citrus fruits in Teso through value addition. Oko has more details.
Citrus farmers in Teso sub-region are itching for double production of their citrus fruits after getting a multi-billion model village project.
Even the Korean expert came in and added unto us more knowledge on the cutting of the trees. And I'm very, very sure next year the outcome will be very, very pleasing to the farmers.
The technologies that are intended to benefit farmers and also guarantee quality production of citrus is anticipated to cause harmony between farmers and Soroti Fruit Factory.
So we are setting up that facility to be a learning facility where farmers come and learn production of citrus. They come and identify different varieties of citrus.
Now, if we have such facilities coming up, I'm sure it will help us buy time into our processing. On the other hand, the government of Uganda is also not sleeping.
Farmers have been urged to utilize this project and focus on quality production to meet the factory demands.
It's nice to hear a farmer making a testimony that this year we are going to increase our production by 100%. That's the quantity you are talking about. But the key issue is, how about the quality? Are you also going to improve the quality by 100% or even more?
The 6-year project is to be supported by the Korean Program on International Agriculture.
Because orange farmers do not have a sprayer that can effectively manage insect and diseases that occur on the tall trees, Kopia has supplied 25 high-pressure automated sprayer to orange farmers.
Korea's partnership aims to assist Uganda to achieve its Vision 2040 and the National Development Plan 2. Through 3 priority cooperation areas: rural development, education, and healthcare. COPIA aims to increase rural household incomes by focusing on raising agricultural productivity through carrying out research on high value-added and disease-resistant agricultural produces.
Farmers have expressed a concern over price fluctuation, where the implementers assured them that it will be sorted out in the project concept.
However, my fear is on the marketing. Because yesterday, it is just my age which assisted me. A lady came and told me that she wanted to buy a bag of oranges at 15,000 shillings. I almost lost my head, but I looked at my age. I said, no, let me not react badly.
We are hoping to establish a storage facility, a short-term storage facility that can hold the oranges when the market is flooded with fruits, so that it can hold it for some bit of time before it's taken to the market and to get a good price.
Teso leaders committed themselves to supporting the execution of the project in order to improve farmers' livelihoods in Teso sub-region.
Plastic recyclers under the umbrella Uganda Plastic Manufacturers Recyclers Association have donated over 200 plastic bins to the city. State Minister for Kampala, Kyomugisha Fatogambye, received the garbage bins.
And hygiene challenge in all urban areas, including Kampala. It is for this reason that Uganda Plastic Manufacturers Recyclers Association has donated 250 garbage bins to KCCA as a measure to keep Kampala clean. State Minister for Kampala, Kyomugisha Fatogambye, advises the public to utilize the bins for maintaining the city cleanliness.
They decided to partner with us. First of all, to clean the buvera in our city. Secondly, to work on the plastic bottles. Thirdly, I'm now charging them to install technology to recycle the plastic bottles we have, the PETs.
Fatogambye urged the public to make use of rubbish bins and to desist from misusing them.
No single factory in the association is going to buy such a plastic material, because we will know this is ours. So if you go and collect it and you think you're going to sell it, we are not going to buy it. Instead, we shall arrest you.
Have the law enforcement officers all over, the assistants all over the city. I believe that we are going to work with them to ensure that they take charge of this. And whoever is found in such a quagmire of taking away the gadgets that has already been placed, we have a small court around the corner. We can always handle them. We have law enforcement assistants. We are going to get more of them. We are recruiting more of them. Soon we shall have the number increasing.
The Executive Director, Uganda Plastic Manufacturers Recyclers Association, Moses Ategeka, says they are to donate over 5,000 rubbish bins to Kampala as a measure of keeping the city clean.
People think plastic waste is the major problem. We know it's a problem, but it's still 6%. Being 6%, and the particular plastic bag, which is always haunted, out of the 6% of all the general plastic, it accounts for less 2%. So for us, our industries have gone into that to make sure all the plastic bag that there is should be brought back and we recycle it.
This was at the handover of 250 bins to KCCA. Lydia Chomkama, Andrew Sebida, UBC News.
Still about the environment, National Water and Sewage Corporation has decried loss of revenue due to leakages, illegal connection and damaged pipes. This was during the pass-out of 185 National Water and Sewage Corporation new staff attending an induction course at the corporation's office in Mugalu, Kampala.
National Water and Sewerage Corporation has a target of increasing its network by 35,000 kilometers and coverage to about 1.3 million customers in the next 3 to 5 years.
Who goes into corruption tendencies is not tolerated. There's not going to be any way that a staff is in the field there and doing all sorts of things that are not in line with the corporation's interests.
National Water and Sewage Corporation management is now partnering with Uganda People's Defence Forces to equip about 185 new recruits with knowledge and skills for mindset change, discipline, commitment, patriotism and resilience. These have been awarded certificates of attendance by National Water and Sewage Corporation in conjunction with National Patriotism Corps Uganda, Office of the President and Basic Cadre Development Course. Among the things the new engineers and water technicians committed to identify and resolve all field anomalies, plus refraining from making unauthorized solicitations.
Find illegals in an area which you are in charge of, illegal connections where the corporation is losing money. If we find leakages, our water is leaking and yet you are the one who is in charge of an area. And that is probably going to be the reason why we might opt to disengage with you. Because you have not come here for a tea party.
UPDF appreciates National Water and Sewage Corporation for equipping the new staff with ideological tools of analysis which make them more reliable, dependable and deployable.
Being grounded into the 4 principles, the principle of patriotism, the principle of which? Pan-Africanism. The 2 socio-economic transformation is about improving the material wealth of our people, increasing it so that they can have increased household incomes.
The chairperson, Human Resource at National Water and Sewage Corporation, retired Colonel Stephen Bassaris, said what is required of the new recruits is performance and result-oriented.
Something that was decided because we have lost a lot of revenue, either by negligence, by corruption, or by a don't care attitude. So since you are here, we are willing to work with you.
The new engineers and technicians are to start their work in Kampala next week, but have been cautioned to be disengaged if they fail to comply to the agreed expectations.
Now, food rights activists have called on government to incorporate the aspect of food security in the parish development model. The Executive Director of Food Rights Alliance, Agnes Jawa, underscores the need for sensitization of matters on food security before rolling out the parish model. She echoed this during the launch of the Right to Grow project in the West Nile district of Yumbe.
The parishes, as they are moving to implement the parish development model, they should emphasize the issue of household food security.
This was the statement made on Wednesday in Ajumani district by Agnes Chirabo, the Executive Director for Food Rights Alliance. She was apparently concerned in the presence of local government minister Raphael Majezi that the new parish development model was bound to fail if food security is not addressed.
The hungry cannot industrialize, the hungry cannot invest, the hungry will frustrate the parish development model.
This, she said, as the Right to Grow, an action against hunger-supported project was being launched. As a similar project was being launched in Yumbe district on Friday afternoon, she spearheaded the same gospel.
I mean, we need a pillar for food and nutrition security in the parish development model, and we predetermine priorities for investment for food security, and then we attach performance outcomes and indicators, and then we shall have holistic development.
Her argument was in line with that of other officials in attendance, including the masterminds behind the Right to Grow project, Action Against Hunger.
We're working in collaboration with government to see to it that the communities are empowered to grow, to consume nutritious food, and also to sell so that they can be able to have meals beyond the fresh vegetables, and also to be able to send the children to school.
The key agenda of Parish development model is to engage in serious sustainable production that can mitigate hunger, that can bring in household income. I am therefore happy that Action Against Hunger will make Parish development model a very easy one for the communities.
Earlier on, Melsa Avako, the woman member of parliament for Yumbe district, who represented the state minister for local government at the launch, paid a courtesy call to the Yumbe district chairperson. Both agreed on upholding food and nutrition security for success of the parish development model.
We are talking of value addition. If really the resources can be put and we are able to get the best out of this, then in the next 5 years, I see that as the people of Yumbe will be somewhere.
When there's poor nutrition, definitely it affects human development. And for enabling or enhancing development in a country, we need abled men. Therefore, this has come at a very good time.
Food and nutrition security remains core in human life, an initiative that Action Against Hunger, through the Right to Grow project, is spearheading. Henry Okrut, UBC.
Now, the Chief Executive Officer, LastNet Legal Aid Service Provider Network, Dr. Sylvia Nambiru Mukasa, has asked government to invest in gender-based violence activities. She says this will help reduce mental health cases that have increased, especially during the COVID-19 period. We have details on this story from Patricia.
A healthy community makes a healthy body and also makes a healthy country. The government of Uganda should look at this COVID, and it should be a self-awakening that COVID has led to violations, especially in increasing gender-based violence. The government of Uganda should know that the survivors of gender-based violence are more affected by issues of trauma because of access to justice, but also because of lack of self-help and self-care and rehabilitation. So we are calling upon the government of Uganda to put mental health and psychosocial support at the center of the healthy continuum of services. They should invest more in resourcing and giving more human resource in the hospitals that are taking care of health and mental care. They should provide for skilling money. They should provide for more money to investigate cases in a timeliness. They should invest in all those aspects that are helping the victims and survivors to recover, in addition to the perpetrators, to prevent gender-based violence. If already you are a vulnerable woman, and then you add on being a vulnerable person with disability, you cannot move faster. Some of them are on the streets. You are given birth through defilement, through rape. You cannot even pursue justice as a defiable person with disability because you don't even know how to move to the police. Even when you reach police, they are not going to listen. So they are more at a precarious position that we need to really look out for those most vulnerable amongst the vulnerable. Last, treating people with mental illness, and the problem is there are just very few. One person alone cannot run the whole clinic for mental illnesses. So this is something I call upon the district leaders, the district health officers, to ensure that they support the mental health workers they have in their community, in their districts, to be able to respond to people with mental health problems.
Okay, talk about that. Well, we'll take a short commercial break and we'll be back with business news, internationals, and sports news.
It's Freaky Friday from Airtel. Buy or gift. Buy or give.
Get freaky too! Dial *149*10# to load a Freaky Friday bundle for you to enjoy the best offers on voice and data.
To buy a bundle for friends and family, dial *149*10*5#. Freaky Friday with Airtel. Buy or gift a bundle today. Dial *149*10# to get started. Airtel, the smartphone network.
It's no secret that ICT makes learning easy.
The strides made in our field could not be possible without it.
And now we can watch our favorite shows.
My radio is my best friend.
UCC provides an enabling regulatory environment and policy guidance for healthy competition. We also facilitate ease of doing business in the communications sector through licensing, standardization, spectrum management, tariff regulation, rural communication development, and consumer empowerment. An informed consumer is an empowered consumer. UCC supports local content and innovations. Driving the development of a robust communication sector in Uganda is Uganda Communications Commission.
Grow together with one of Uganda's largest companies. Apply for MTN shares for as low as 100,000 Uganda shillings. And when you apply using MTN mobile money, you get 10 free extra shares for every 100 shares you apply for. Dial *165*65# or use the MyMTN app to apply now. The terms and conditions of the offer and other important information are set out in the prospectus. For assistance, visit any MTN service center or Stanbic Bank branch countrywide or a licensed broker.
Still tuned in UBC News tonight on the 29th of October 2021. In our business stories, the construction industry is among the fastest growing sectors in the country and has necessitated equipping of engineers with skills and use of effective building materials. This has been disclosed by the operation manager Italtech's company Ali at the launch of Italtech's Scheme Court at Hefsiv in Kampala district.
The construction industry has been hit by lack of adequate skills, leading to the construction of shoulder buildings, with some killing people. This has been disclosed by the operations manager, Italtex company, Ali Chamsedin, at the launch of Italtex scheme Coat Adhesive in Kampala.
We will carry out demonstrations and train people on how to maintain proper walls that will last a longer time. For example, there's the unemployment. Italtex today is employing more than 200 people, and we dare to increase that number and to employ more people so that we can be helping the industry in Uganda.
Ali Chamsedin says the new Italtex adhesive must be used by contractors in the building industry for interior and exterior use because it is extremely durable, excellent and water repellent. He says the time is now to employ the female in the construction sector following their commitment towards work.
Also the youth, like women, youth have been left out in the construction industry, yet youth are highly innovative and energetic, plus they are creative and they can bring fresh ideas that will help the economy. Together with the partners, we plan to involve more youth in extracting their talents and making them useful to this great nation. The construction industry in Uganda, today the construction industry is actually on the top of the most growing industry and the fast growing industry after the agriculture. It employs a large number of people and it has infinite ways of earning money and flowing cash. Therefore, we plan to give proper guidelines to involve everyone and every citizen in this country to be part of the outgrowing and the fast growing construction industry.
The brand ambassador, Italtex scheme Coat Adhesive, Leila Kayondo, warned youth against despising jobs and asked more females to join the construction industry.
I mean, the building company, the construction company, long time ago was known to be for men. So if you see ladies up there, like in the construction sector, and they're there distributing all these products, the building products, and some of them are even involving in the real construction, it's really very encouraging.
Sudat Kaye, UBC News.
Now, the Minister of State for Fisheries, Helen Adoa, has pledged government support in building capacity of local fishermen in the country. Helen made the remarks at the launch of the Federation of Fisheries Organization Uganda Strategic Plan and the Abavubi app in Kampala. She has stakeholders to support the Fisheries Aquaculture Amendment Bill.
The Fisheries Aquaculture Bill 2021 seeks to levy fines, give excessive powers to the Directorate of Fisheries, the Chief Fisheries Officer and the Line Minister to make guidelines to regulate the fishing industry, although some fishermen allege that the bill gives excessive powers to legislators. The Minister of State, Helen Adoa, has urged stakeholders to support the bill.
It's leaving our legs. Immature fish is leaving our legs. And if it continues this way, we have no lake in the next 5 years. I want to ask you to support the bill. I want you to put what you think can sustain. And remember, what we put in the bill today can easily remember 1951, 1964 is when the last bill was made. But it has been able, those people had put it well. It has been able to a bit sustain. Now there are some things that are outdated.
Adoa made the remarks at the launch of the strategic plan for the Federation of Fisheries Organization Uganda and requested more sensitization of fishermen on HIV/AIDS. She lashed out at individuals personalizing the lake and vowed to end this vice.
Especially now that everybody wants to go to the lake, and a few people are also now owning almost the lake and chasing away everybody. You find one person having a hollow lake, and you see the way they dodge, they use other fishermen to cover them, and yet it is one person. We must stop this, and it must be stopped.
The Executive Director, Federations of Fisheries Organization Uganda, Nwasima Patience, advocated for a fishing holiday to enable immature fish to grow.
But the reasons we have all these major interventions is because we want to use them as a roadmap on guiding us, because each one of these is broader, is bigger than what we have put into writing. However, we want to use the 5 interventions to help the people, to help the fishing communities, to improve whatever is happening within the subsector.
Nwasima says the introduction of the Abavubi app and integration of ICT in fisher-related activities will contribute to development of the fishing community in East Africa.
So far we have an app, it's called the Abavubi app. The app is so, I would encourage every other person, fish farmers, fish lovers, every other person that is engaged in fishing to download the app. The reason we have that app is not just for us as a federation to boost around, no, but it is also to improve on to help improve on the lives of these fisher folks, because it is helping on a lot of issues: navigation, record keeping, stock taking, then marketing, which is one of the main issues. And at the moment, we're also trying to integrate the HIV concept on them, because when you see the HIV report of late, it shows that there are increasing numbers of HIV infections around the fishing communities.
Setizivu Hamdan, the brains behind the Abavubi app, says fishermen will be able to post what they have, and a call center has been set up to support the fishermen and customers. He, however, cited some challenges.
We found out in our consumer acceptance tests that networks do not reach certain learning sites and islands. So these are some of our challenges we find down there. Then more training is needed in the communities. Well, apps should be easy to be learned, but our people down there actually require training. Yes, then smartphones among the fisher folks are still limited.
Coordinating sustainable and ethical fishing practices.
The National Handball League with this Saturday witnessed the ultimate games of the first round. Several games are lined up by the notable ones at the Battle of Forces when Uganda Prison plays Uganda Police in both genders. In the games at Chiwuli Police Primary School, Uganda Police and Uganda Prisons will do battle in the women's game that will start at 10 a.m. In the women's category, this is the first versus second in the league, with Uganda Police leading the standings after 6 rounds and unbeaten on 12 points, while Prisons have played 5 and lost 1 and on 8 points. The 11:30 a.m. well, the men's games will begin, and it will be that the first one will be between Uganda Police men against Uganda Prisons. As it stands in the league, Uganda Prisons leads the standings with 10 points after 5 games, while Police is at 9 points after 5 games. Well, that's all we had time for now, but before we sign out, we'll take a look at the headlines.
Brought to you by
How to get points. Just use MTN to make calls, send SMS, load airtime, buy bundles, or pay for MTN subscription services.
Everywhere you go, MTN.
In UBC News tonight at 10 p.m, government to support Masaka hailstorm victims. At Entebbe Airport, well, the COVID-19 results will be texted to client phones. Hearing of Signologist's bail application flops. And in our sports news, Prisons police face off in handball this weekend.
Was brought to you by Everywhere You Go, MTN.
Thank you so much for watching UBC News tonight at 10 p.m. My name is Sharon Kyomugisha with Mugalu Mohammed on Sign Language. Have a lovely night, and we'll leave you with the weather forecast.
I'm Juliet Natiza with today's weather forecast from Uganda National Meteorological Authority. Some parts of the country are having wet activities, and according to the rainfall data received today shows that Arua had 7.3, Gulu had 6.4, and Masaka had 6.2 millimeters. This is due to the Kong air mass that is still blowing in moist winds towards the western stretch of our country, and then the local effects from Lake Victoria. Tomorrow morning, we expect most parts of the country to be with sunny intervals, apart from the Lake Victoria showers, where we expect light showers. Later on in the afternoon, most parts of the country are expected to be with thunder showers, apart from the Karamoja region, where we expect sunny intervals. Temperatures are expected to rise to 30 in the northern parts of our country, and then the Karamoja region. Kampala, we expect temperatures to be at 27, and then Kabale Highlands, we expect temperatures to be at 24. Elsewhere in the world, Nairobi, Paris, and then New York, we expect showers. Dubai, we expect sunny conditions, and temperatures expected to rise to 35. Nairobi, we expect sunny intervals. That's all we had for you from Uganda National Meteorological Authority. Stay blessed.
This weekend, Youth of Purpose.
Why would someone prefer to use